Finally, tonight, towards the bottom of page 2, let's look at the purpose of money now, okay? We've given you all the negative, so let's look at the purpose of money. Why does God bless us with money? Why does God give us what we have? Let's take a look at Proverbs 11, beginning in verse 24. It says, one person gives freely, that gains even more. Another withholds unduly, that comes to poverty. A generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others will be refreshed. People curse the one who hoards grain, but they pray God's blessing on the one who is willing to sell. Whoever seeks good finds favor, but evil comes to one who searches for it. Those who trust in their riches will fall, but the righteous will thrive like a green leaf. Jesus, again, talked a lot about money, and the scriptures talk a lot about freely giving. The very bottom of page 2 says this: becoming rich towards God begins when we realize the dangers of loving money, and we learn to start seeing money and ourselves in the correct light. The whole title of this thing is not what to do with money, but it's about becoming rich towards God. So what does that mean? Well, we got to see ourselves in the proper light, and we got to see our money in the proper light, and we need to see God in the proper light as well. When any of those three views gets distorted, then it's hard to be rich towards God. It's hard to be what God has called us to be and what He wants us to be. So the top of page 3, and we're going to close with this again. I said that before, but this time I almost mean it. Here we go. The first bullet point says, giving causes true prosperity. Okay, this has become a controversial word, so I am not telling you name it, claim it, frame it, blab it, grab it. I'm not saying that at all, okay? I'm not saying that we're going to compel God to do anything because we did this and we said all the good Christian magic words. That is not Bible. That is funky American theology that doesn't work anywhere else, and it really doesn't even work here at all. So I just said that, and it felt really good. But look at this. Underneath there, God gives to us to bless us. He also gives to us so that He can give through us. See, God loves to bless His kids, but He doesn't want you to hoard it. He blesses us so that we can bless other people. This principle, in fact, I just did some 5-minute with Phil sessions on this topic. I did it a couple times where God entrusts us with money so that we can bless others with that money. In 2 Corinthians chapter 1, here's another example. It has nothing to do with money, but the principle is there. Paul says, praise to the God of all compassion who comforts us at all times. I'm paraphrasing again. And therefore, as we have received comfort, follow me, as we receive comfort, we are able to give the comfort that He has given us to other people. See, that's the God concept of everything. When God gives you something, then He intends for that to be used to bless somebody else. Does that make sense? And so that's God's plan. That's why this little church, okay, we are not a mega, those of you watching online, we are not a mega church. Okay, we are not a mega church, okay? Not at all, not at all. These are iPhones that are, and we do a pretty good job, by the way, but these aren't fancy cameras. We don't have fancy lights. I don't have, anyway, so, I don't have smoke machines. I don't have fancy shoes. I don't, whatever. And all those things are cool, but here's what I've seen from this little church. Okay, as we have been generous, God's been generous to us. And then we're generous again. And then God's generous to us. And then we're generous again. And then God's generous. And it just keeps going. And I've seen God, and I'm so thankful that I have a board, by the way, that gets this. When I sit with those 4 guys, and I talk about how much, we might have done to help this situation or how much we gave to missions, and they're all like, God's going to bless us. We don't see giving as an expense. We give because God gave to us. We bless because God blessed us.